If you want to get standout images from your iPhone, as opposed to the run-of-the-mill snapshot, one option is to shoot with a long exposure. In this video, we're going to be running through how to use long exposure to blur moving water. However, do note that unlike standalone cameras, where the shutter speed can be slowed to a few seconds, iPhone has a shutter speed limit of just 1 second, which will hamper the amount of blur you can achieve. So for example, looking at these 3 images, you would be able to capture the first 2 images as those were shot with a shutter speed of less than a second, but not the third image, which has the smoother blur and is the best looking of the 3. Another disadvantage of long exposure is if the scene is relatively bright and you didn't bring filters to reduce the light. What you're going to get is an overexposed image. To demonstrate this problem, let's blur the flowing water in this fountain. Using Lightroom camera, I'll reduce the ISO to the lowest value. I'll move the shutter to 1 second. I'll take the shot. As you can see, despite our best efforts trying to reduce the exposure, we still get an overexposed image. So with these disadvantages of shooting long exposure with an iPhone, how do we overcome this? The solution is to use image stacking. With image stacking, instead of shooting a single shot with a very long shutter speed, you instead shoot multiple shots at faster shutter speeds, just fast enough to ensure a correct exposure, and later combine them, averaging the pixels to mimic a long exposure shot. The benefit of image stacking is 1, you do not get problems of overexposure even in the brightest conditions, and 2, you can mimic shutter speeds longer than 1 second simply by taking more shots. To demonstrate this, I'll be using our partner app AURAHDR Camera 8, which does the image stacking method automatically, and with the latest update has been improved with the ability to select shooting durations. Let's work on this fairly bright scene, which would have caused severe overexposure with a 1 second shutter speed. By the way, since I failed to bring a tripod, I simply braced the iPhone on a rock to get the shot. From the shooting menu, I'll make sure to select long exposure. From the context menu, I'll change the duration to 15 seconds for a smoother blur. I'll take the shot. After the elapsed time, you can see a nice smooth blur with perfect exposure. Once satisfied, you can simply click the Save button and that will save this image to the photo library. Here is the before and the after. Here's another example, this time blurring the water in this beachscape to achieve an attractive, dreamy effect. So that's how you blur flowing water on an iPhone. As you can see, it's a great way to deliver standout images of flowing water, which you won't get with a stock camera app. Do let me know what are your favorite long exposure subjects on an iPhone. I'd love to hear from you. And do consider supporting our channel by getting AURAHDR Camera 8 on the iOS App Store, the best app for computational photography. I'll see you on the next video.